All right, Craig, only 5 more minutes of your plank test left.
There's got to be a better way to test your core strength.
There is a better way to test your core strength. Let us show you.
What's up, Rehab? Dr. Craig Lindell here.
Dr. Lauren Linus.
And today we're going to be talking about slings and core strength because we listen to your comments, we get back to you, and more importantly, we love getting content ideas. So please continue to leave comments, give us content suggestions. More importantly, give this video a thumbs up and let us know in this video what you want to see more of. But let's dive into it, right? So why slings and core strength? Well, slings are technically muscles that work together maybe between these myofascial connections, but they're in the front of our body, they're in the back of our body, and what they do is they help control our trunk position. And ultimately, being able to control your trunk position is what we like to term as core strength. So in order to dive into those two topics, first we need to assess what is core strength, right? And I love this little test. Highly recommend, grab it, do it with a friend, do it with a healthcare clinician, and I'm gonna break it down for you how you can do it. So easiest way is, Lauren's gonna be the perfect demonstrator for me. I'm gonna tell Lauren, hey, stand in front of me, get your feet shoulder width apart, and I want you to root your feet into the ground. Don't let me move you. There's 4 different movements. One hand is gonna be on the hip, the other hand is gonna be on the shoulder. If my left hand is behind her hip, my right hand is in front of her shoulder. Vice versa. If the hand goes in front of her hip, the other hand goes behind her shoulder. What we're doing is we're pushing and pulling. We're gonna do it on both sides because we wanna see, can she keep these 4 points, these 4 connections, the same length? Lauren, let me win. If I were to push on her hip and pull back on her shoulder, she's letting me win. Those 2 points are getting too long. So pushing on the hip, pulling back on the shoulder, we're looking at the anterior sling. Vice versa, if I pull on her hip and push on her shoulder, her back is getting longer. That posterior sling is getting longer. This is what it looks like in real time. Lauren, don't let me win. So I'm going to push, pull on her shoulder. I can kind of bring it on slowly and then push harder. I can kind of go fast, right? And not exactly perfectly timed. And then I can switch sides. And again, I can switch hand position. So pushing, pulling, or pushing, pulling. All this is really important because this stuff, this is what happens when you're playing sports, when you're exercising, you name it. Say that Lauren, she were to let me win going this way versus going this way. This posterior sling is not doing its job. Well, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna show you guys exercises to fix that.
Okay, let's dive into it.
Let's do it. All right, prehabbers, so let's say that when Craig was testing me, I went like this when he was pushing from the back and pulling on my hips, okay? So that means that I'm weak through my posterior oblique sling. So we want to show you 2 exercises to work on strengthening that. So I'm gonna have Craig in an all-4 position to start with. From here, he's gonna straighten one leg and then row with the opposite leg, okay? So again, we're working that sling in the back, which comes from his shoulder down to his opposite or his contralateral glutes. Now I'm gonna have Craig go through a few of these here. And you'll notice Craig's doing a really, really good job keeping his core tight. Again, these slings, these 3D slings in our body help with core control and core stability. Now, let's say that Craig is struggling through this. You will see him rotate through his trunk, right? This is what we don't want. Again, we want to use those slings to optimize core stability and core strength without him showing weakness in through those slings. So we don't want to see a lot of rotation with this one. Good. Awesome, Craig. Okay, let's go into exercise number 2. So exercise number 2, we're gonna have Craig use a band. Now, while he's moving the bench out of the way, a really, really awesome thing that bands do is they give us a little bit of tactile input, right, when he's doing this exercise. And I'll kind of go into that as he goes into it. So from here, he's going to pull down, again, opposite shoulder, and then he's stabilizing through that opposite glute, okay? So we're working that posterior sling. He can come back into that lunge, and then come back up, stabilize, engage that glute, engage that shoulder. Yeah, and he's doing a really, really good job. Again, we're not seeing him rotate. So show us, Craig, somewhere you would be rotating a lot. Yeah, so this is what we don't want. Again, we want those slings to provide us with functional core stability here. Now, again, as Craig goes through a few more, the bands can provide us with a little bit of tactile cueing, which is awesome because it can help to give us a little bit of input of where our body is in space. Without the bands, we can get kind of clumsy, our form can kind of fall apart, but with the bands, it's gonna give us a little bit more stability and give us a little bit more awareness of where our body is in space as we go through these exercises. All right, let's dive into 2 exercises to help to strengthen your anterior oblique sling. Okay, prehabbers, so let's say that your friend, your teammate, whoever it was, beat you when they were pulling back on your shoulder, okay? That was lengthening that anterior oblique sling. So we want to show you 2 exercises to help work on strengthening that. So Craig here is using one of our prehab bands, and we are selling these prehab bands, so go ahead, the link is in the description, check them out, they're awesome. But I'm gonna have Craig here go into a chop type motion. So again, that anterior sling is coming from shoulder down to opposite hip, and we're working the external, internal oblique as well as the adductor muscle. So with this exercise, it's really more about moving pelvis on hip, right? As he comes into hip adduction here, and then controls the motion as he comes out. And Craig's doing a good job rotating too. You know, core exercises are not just about stability, right? They are also about stability during functional rotational exercises. So you do want to get a little bit of rotation in with your core strengthening to help to provide functional stability with core strength. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have Craig pull the bench back in. He's getting his workout in. Okay, he's pulling the bench back in. We guys want to show you 1 more exercise to work on your anterior oblique sling. Again, if your friend, your teammate kind of pulled you out of this position here. So I'm gonna have Craig lay on his back. And then from here, he's gonna get that anterior oblique sling working by crossing opposite hand over to his knee. And here he's gonna push, so he's getting that adductor muscle engaged. Great, and then he's extending opposite leg and arm, keeping his core tight and really, really providing pressure into his knee to get that adductor muscle to work. And Craig's pushing almost out at an angle too, because we wanna get that inner thigh engaged. And this is hard, this is really, really hard. Once you guys drop on the ground, try this right now, leave a comment, let us know what you think. But this is a really great exercise to really isolate that anterior oblique sling. All right, guys, Craig's tired. He got his workout in for the day. I'm gonna let him take a water break. But if you loved this video and you wanna learn more about slings or maybe assessing slings, we have another awesome video on how to assess slings here. And then we have a blog that is dedicated entirely to this subject. You can also check that out here as well. Otherwise, go ahead, subscribe, send this to someone, maybe send this to someone that you wanna test their sling. Let us know what you think. Try some of these exercises, comment below. And again, provide input. We love to give you guys content that you want to see. So let us know what you want to see and we'll make it happen. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.